Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, and more. Follow Elliot in the Morning everywhere social at EITM Online.
Brandon Flowers!
Yes.
So listen, and we'll go through it all, but I feel like it is a very, very, very busy time for you.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, so I forgot what it was like to get the machine going again, and it's proven to be a little bit more busy than I thought it was going to be.
But why do I also have this feeling of, and listen, yes, this weekend obviously is a big weekend. There's a whole tour that launches behind that. There's a deluxe version of Pressure Machine. There's a new single. But why do I also feel like at the same time, you never stopped working? You were busy the entire time.
Yeah, well, I think it's just part of my nature, and it ended up being a blessing for me because I don't know what I would have done with myself during these last couple of years. But I was able to spend and make up for a lot of time, I think, with my kids and my wife, and so there were so many silver linings to it for me, and I'm really lucky.
But were you also at the point, because they couldn't do anything, were you also at the point where like, boy, I've always dreamed of this time. Boy, I wish they were busy though.
So we sort of fell right into a routine. Yeah, I found there was, a side of the house where I have a keyboard or a piano, and it was, after breakfast I went there, and we definitely, made sure to convene at dinner time and go on walks and things like that. So we really were able to make it work.
All right, so let's start with this weekend. I feel like when the announcement came out that the Killers were going to play the Strip, that it was going to be a big weekend of sold out shows, there was something very, I don't know, obviously there was something very natural about it. Like, well, of course the Killers are playing Vegas, but there was something big and something exciting, and it was almost one of those moments where you were like, yeah, everything will be like pretty wide open by then. It just seemed that the announcement came at the right time for an event that felt like it was at the right time.
Yeah, everything was kind of touch and go, up until the point that we announced it, and we finally felt, comfortable, and that it wouldn't be shut down, and that the variants were starting to calm down, and this is this is always going to be our home, and it's such a fun place for us to play still, and we still feel that energy from the Strip and from Las Vegas, and so it's kind of a perfect place to kick things off.
It doesn't it, and I don't know, Brandon, maybe being surrounded by it, maybe you don't feel this way, but at least from this side of the country, it feels like, yes, Vegas has gambling. It's always had the Strip. There's always been shows. There's always been bars. But now throw in hockey, throw in football. The draft is on the way. And conventions are back. It was always like, oh, the concrete convention. It's the first big one back.
Right.
It just felt like once Vegas, all the restrictions came off the casinos, and it just seemed like people were like, okay, now the airlines are going, we're traveling again. Where are we going? Oh, hell yeah, we're going to Vegas. Vegas is on such a high right now.
I know. You can't. The hotels are around, and it's. I haven't seen it like this in years, and so it's just great. For this place. This is that industry is also a part of our family. All of our fathers and mothers and aunts and uncles and cousins and people kind of, are bellmen and waitresses and valet parkers and engineers. And so it's just really good for this city right now.
Are you one of those people, though, where the only time you venture to the Strip is obviously work? Or if you venture to the Strip, is it just you have friends from out of town or other bands that you're hanging out with? But other than that, you are not hanging out on the Strip. Well, you probably can't.
No, it's fine. I like it. I still like it. You hear that from a lot of people that, they only go when a relative's coming to town or something like that. But, there's so much to do and with so many great restaurants. And I know some of the back alleyways to get in and avoid some traffic and things like that. So that comes in handy.
So has it been a busy week of rehearsals and getting ready for this weekend, or at this point is it not that you're not putting effort in, you understand that, but is it like we know what we're doing, we've had all this time, or I mean there is a tour that launches right behind this.
Right. No, it is. There is that element of it's like riding a bike, and I'm grateful for that, for those moments. But then there are definitely some challenges because a lot of these songs that have existed for so long, they just sort of play themselves, and we've found ways to make them work live. And now you have these new songs that you've got to try to find siblings on a set list for them, or where they're going to work, and how is this going to work live. And so it is, presents some new challenges. It's fun. It reminds me of being in a young band again and starting out.
So do you take Pressure Machine, and I know that the deluxe version is now out, but take Pressure Machine, is that what you're talking about, where I don't want to say it's a completely different record, but it is a different record than kind of traditional top of mind Killer stuff. So when you think about adding that into like a big arena or stadium show, is that where it gets challenging?
Yeah, those songs are not made for a big room. Those would definitely be better in a bar or a theater or something like that. And so I doubt you'll see a ton of those. But we found some nice spots for a couple of those. But luckily, we had the album before, which Imploding the Mirage had some more, tailor-made songs for the big rooms, and so those are starting to come together too.
Hey, sticking with Pressure Machine, was it really nice to go back to Nephi and kind of get that? I read something somewhere, Brandon, where you were talking about how it just felt like a piece of you where there was still some history. You lived there for 6 years, but there was still some history. There was still some parts of you that you had to get out, and there had to, almost a little bit, there were even moments from when you were young that you were still grieving about that you didn't really realize you were until you were kind of by yourself and needed to go back and do that.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was a revelation for me, because I didn't know that I had been walking around with these memories myself. I just sort of unlocked a room that I didn't know existed, and I was it flooded out and fell onto my lap, this record. It was almost, they say you have your whole life to write your first record, and then there's all this pressure to make these other records. But I had that experience again where I'd been, everything had been Las Vegas, and I had sort of been neglecting this, my upbringing in this rural town in Utah, and so it just was a beautiful time, actually, that I cherish now, but I had been avoiding it, and it was amazing to write a record about that place and go back there.
Was it uncomfortable going back in terms of, I'm sure it felt very comfortable for you, but was it uncomfortable going back of almost being seen as an outsider?
Yeah, a little bit. I was only there for 6 years, but I wasn't surprised at how much I realize now, how much it's impacted me and how much it's shaped me in the way that I am. And so it's become a tender place for me. And, I didn't shine it in the most, perfect light. I was able to make a record and be honest about the place. And I think that people will appreciate that about it.
Did you go back to Taco Time?
Yeah. I got a sister that lives about 2 blocks from Taco Time still in Nephi, so yeah.
I looked it up. It's still open.
Yeah.
Hey, one more question about Nephi. When you went back, did you take the family with you, or was that like a work trip and Dad did that solo?
Yeah, that was kind of how this started. I was driving through, and I would pull off and show my kids, the apartment building where my parents lived, and show them places and take them to the burger joint in town, and it's just something, it triggered something in me, and it ended up becoming a complete record. Yeah.
And listen, I don't know your family, but I would assume if I were Brandon Flowers' child and I was living with a rock star dad in Vegas and I went back to Taco Time in Nephi, I would be really glad Dad moved.
They haven't expressed it like that, but I think they are secretly happy. Yeah.
And then, did I read correctly? Are you guys already working on material for another new record?
Yeah, we just sort of wanted to keep the fires going. It's such a a strange cycle to be in a band. You make a record and you get this, you get into this rhythm, and then you go take it on the road, and that just stops that part of that creative side of your brain, and it becomes this physical performance, and then you go back, you take some time off after the road, and then you go back into the studio and cross your fingers, and it's like it's kind of a strange cycle. And so we've been lucky because we've been on a roll and feel like we're writing great songs, and we decided to keep it going. And so we had Sean Everett and Stuart Price come, and we just kept going. So yeah, we've got the next one on the way.
So is this going to be the tour where it's like, oh my God, the Killers are doing 3.5, 4 hours a night?
No, no. I want to get, maybe I'll get to that place one day. A lot of bands, to their credit, that do that, they, the singer might be a guitar player, and there's a lot of jamming going on, and I gotta take care of my voice, and it's looking like 2 hours.
Oh, okay, yeah. And besides, the ticket price is the same whether it's 2 or 4, so you do the math.
Got to keep these pipes healthy.
Exactly. All right, so you get Vegas this weekend, and then it's off to Mexico, and then it's overseas. Like the machine is going. It is going in a big. Hey, do you look at it, Brandon? Do you look at it and go, oh, it's been so long. Looking at the schedule, it looks awesome, or do you look at it and go, oh, it's I'm going to be exhausted?
No, I'm thrilled now because obviously we have had. It's been 2.5 years since we stopped touring, and so we never anticipated having this long of a break. And I did, there were things about it that I loved, but this is a part of my identity, and I love being on stage and the kind of that communal experience with our fans, and I'm kind of chomping at the bit.
Are you nervous at all?
Yeah, I get nervous. I go back to being I use it. I think I use it for. Usually, it doesn't get the better of me, and I'm able to turn it into something, and I think that's part of what makes us tick.
So, if somebody were to say Brandon Flowers during the off time, are you just one of those people, Brandon? You can't sit still. Like idle hands for you are not good.
Right. Yeah. I feel even days off. I plan my schedule, what I'm going to do, what time I get out of the gym, and what dinner and every, and it's still relaxing for me. But I never think I'm just going to wing it today.
You know what? Good for you. My off day goes, I'm going to wake up. I'll have a cigarette. Okay, I'm done. I'll figure out the rest at that point.
We all got our own. We're all on our own journey.
Exactly. Hey, last thing, and then I know I got to let you jump. Do you whether it's in Vegas or running around, do you get into many sporting events? I don't know if you go to like a Golden Knights game or just if you're out traveling around. Do you get into many sporting events?
Yeah, a little bit. We never anticipated we'd have sports in Las Vegas, and
right.
So I always tell about we sort of inherited teams. So I inherited the Steelers because my dad was born in Pennsylvania, and so that was what the town was sort of full of people like that. Or your cousin's from Denver, so you root for the Broncos, or and we had a great basketball team when I was a kid, and so we would follow where those players went. When they turned pro. So I was a huge Charlotte Hornets fan because Larry Johnson went to the Charlotte Hornets, and so it's really strange seeing the stadium and having the Raiders and having the Golden Knights. It's pretty awesome what it's done for the town.
But I'm a big hockey guy, so I just love going to a game, and all of a sudden, Mr. Brightside, and I don't know if it started at the University of Michigan or with the Wolverines, but Mr. Brightside has become the biggest arena sing-along into a cappella song for people in the stadium. That's got to be awesome for you.
It's pretty amazing. Yeah. When I hear that the song's 20 years old, it's wild. It's kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. It's all happened so quickly, but also the the life that song has taken on, and it's not, it's become more than just our song now. It's reaching places like that, and it's pretty incredible to be a part of.
The Killers will be playing the Chelsea at the Cosmopolitan this weekend in Vegas, completely sold out. State Farm Arena in Atlanta, September the 16th. Capital One Arena in D.C., September the 29th. The Garden in New York, September 30th and October 1st. Pressure Machine, the deluxe version, is out now. Hey, Brandon, I appreciate the time. Thank you, my friend.
Hey, thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you, Brandon.